is Kat.
And, you know.
And this is Eli.
Special guest.
What's up?
I think you know him by, what's your channel name?
NBDRUMMER.
That's it. So we're here to do a versus episode on Mötley Crüe. The first two albums.
That was my idea, by the way.
It was his idea.
It's the first idea I ever had.
Well, maybe the second idea.
Yeah, well. There's two records, that's why.
So, here's the first one. Too Fast for Love. These are my copies of these records. I do believe both of these gentlemen also have the copies of these records.
I don't know where mine are, so.
And I forgot to bring mine with me.
So, there you go.
How prepared.
Yeah. They'll learn us.
Love that picture, by the way.
I do too.
That's a poster that I need to find,
yeah.
if it exists.
And I feel like that should be with Shout at the Devil. that
it's more appropriate.
Yeah.
It should be, but it's not.
Why isn't it?
Because...
Let me see this.
Oh!
Hello.
Slippery plastic. Because Shout at the Devil has its own cool picture, that's why. See that?
That'd be a cool poster, too.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Killer Gatefold.
By golly.
It's got a little order form. Alistair Fiend. This little guy right here is Alistair Fiend. I used to have that. I wish I still did.
Door poster?
A door poster. I wished I still did.
That was their mascot, like Eddie or somebody.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that. This is the first time I've seen this order form just now.
Well, you know.
And there's the vinyl on Elektra. So, we're gonna...
I never had Alistair Fiend either, so.
I never knew.
I did. I had lots of Alistair Fiend
I remember
stuff.
seeing them on t-shirts, but that's about the extent of it.
I had a door poster where he was breaking through the door, and I had that one.
Let me do that.
No, I got it.
All right.
Go ahead and talk.
Okay, well, we're here to debate and compare and opinionize these two records. I thought it would be... I like everything in twos, so I thought it'd be a good idea to just take the first two Mötley Crüe albums, because this is just my opinion. I think they're the two best ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said that before about a band's early material seems to be their best material. So
Most of the time, yes.
that's all I have to say about that.
And I
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, see you later. Have a
That's
good
the
one.
end of the video. So, I had asked Branton why he thought that was so. Because I have my opinion of why I think that's so.
What? Their music being the early material?
Why do you think the earlier stuff is the best stuff?
I said because they have their whole life to write the material. And they're hungry and they're young and they want, you know, they just want to prove something.
Exactly.
I think that's really more, I don't know what else.
That's what I was going to touch on, that hunger and that drive, and the money hadn't quite taken over yet. And,
Right.
you know, they were still writing that good music and the gritty music.
I
Not
think,
that they didn't have good stuff after these albums, but...
I think it's their passion.
Right.
It's the passion to be a musician. And the record company hasn't come, the big man hasn't come in and given their vision and said,
Exactly.
this is what we want you to be.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think, personally, that, you know, I actually love both of these records.
That's what I was just getting ready to ask.
But, you know, I've listened to both of these thousands of times.
Right.
However, I listened to both of them again back to back this weekend. Well, this past week. And I was going to say that Too Fast for Love was my favorite out of the two. But now I'm not so sure. After listening to them back to back, I'm not really so sure if it's my favorite out of the two. I mean, I have favorite songs off of both of them, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I keep going back and forth. It's like Too Fast for Love is raw and it's, you know, in your face, and it's so, like, Vince's vocals are so just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to Shout at the Devil, it's a little more polished.
Mm-hmm.
It's just enough to be a little more polished to really, I don't know, because Helter Skelter's is on Shout at the Devil, and that's my song.
Yeah.
That's my song.
It's kind of like they were a little more pissed off on Shout at the Devil too. Like, here's some heavier stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think I like Too Fast for Love. I like every song on it.
Absolutely, me too.
But Shout at the Devil, I don't like every song on it. Like Danger. I've never been a fan of that song.
Oh,
it's okay.
Yeah.
But it's just not, it doesn't fit the same category. I don't like every song. I'm trying to think. Let me see. I think that's the only one that stands out that I've never been a fan of. But the other ones, pretty much, I feel the same about. I like all of the other ones. So it's just the one song. But I think the reason I like these first two albums, it's because I'm so wrapped up in Image. And these two albums, their look at the time was, one, something no one else was really doing, especially on Shout at the Devil.
Oh, yeah.
And I think a lot of bands copied that look through the 80s and was trying to be, not necessarily the sound. I can't think of anyone that sounds like Mötley Crüe.
Right.
But the look, you see a lot of that studs and leather stuff, which I think is hilarious. I mean, Judas Priest was already doing it, but I think Mötley Crüe did it different.
Exactly.
Because they added like colors and stuff.
Well, Judas Priest already had a record deal when Mötley Crüe came
right.
out.
Yeah, they had.
So they were already in the process, so to speak. Mötley Crüe was just doing it because they thought this is what we need to do to be who we are.
Well, they were trying to be different, and they definitely stood out.
Because you go into Theater of Pain, their next album, and there's no leather.
Yeah, once again, they were doing the opposite. They said they were trying to do the opposite every time, or something to that effect. Even the logos are different on all their albums, and those are sort of similar, but I didn't like the fact that they changed the logo on every album.
Yeah.
You said you did like that, right? Or you didn't mind it?
It doesn't bother me.
I didn't really like that too much, because I like the original stuff.
Right.
You know, it's like I think about, hate to use Kiss as, but if Kiss changed their logo on every album, the color's fine.
Yeah,
if they changed, I just can't imagine.
Yeah, that's with them. It was always the same logo, just different color scheme and pattern. But with CRÜE, I mean, yeah, those are essentially the same. Just what one font is like slanted compared to the other. But yes, like what was it? Theater of Pain. It was yellow, whole different lettering.
And then it was written
Dr.
like
Feelgood.
pink on Girls. I think. Yeah. Which is fine, but it's just like, I don't know why that's even a thing.
Because then on Girls, it was supposed to look like one of those
well, they were
signs.
tying it all together with
Right.
the theme of it. I understand, but I don't know. To me, it's just identifiable with, you put your stamp on it.
Yeah, and to me, the one on Shout at the Devil was always like the iconic Mötley Crüe
because
logo,
of the
in
little,
my opinion.
I don't know what those are called right off.
Those little dots.
The little dots over the O and the...
umlauts or something like that.
Yeah,
Umlauts.
something like that, like Lowenbrow. They got the idea from Lowenbrow Beer, had those on there. And then Motorhead was doing that too, I think, weren't they?
Yeah.
I think I had seen an interview where Nikki said, was Germany or Norway or someplace like that, where they actually mispronounced Mötley Crüe because of those two dots.
Right, because they were
letters.
trying to emphasize whatever that means.
Yeah, because really they were just for looks. To put that on your logo, just to kind of make it look, to catch your eye, I guess, in a way. But.
Right. So, I want to bring up something that I haven't really heard people talk about, and that's Mick Mars. To me, Mick Mars is such an underrated guitarist.
I totally agree.
You never hear anybody talk about how good his rips are, and I'm sorry, but I'm blown away by him.
Yeah, he's one of the reasons I like CRÜE.
Even now, on this last tour, I've seen footage, and we watched that footage
from
iHeartRadio.
Oh yeah,
he stood out.
He was right in front and center. It's almost like they showcased him on purpose, which I don't know if they did. Yeah, he was.
He was badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he, with what he's gone through all these years, and he still plays like nothing's wrong with him. He doesn't let it get to him. He's a badass person. I mean, he's awesome.
He's tough. He has to be tough to be able to do that.
He is one of the best guitarists I think I've ever heard, ever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ever. And I mean, I know his background's in the blues,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm sorry, but you know, blues to me is really kind of the anchor
Mm-hmm.
for metal. You have a lot of blues rips in metal music. They're a little heavier,
Well,
but
yeah.
substantial.
Phil Zeppelin
Right.
started all that, really.
Oh, yeah.
With the ripping people off, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak. I mean...
Blues and jazz, really. I mean...
Yeah.
Pretty much if it wasn't for both of those styles of music, you can almost say there wouldn't be metal.
Exactly.
I mean, when it
It's
comes
a
to guitar
hybrid.
players, drummers, all around.
I agree.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a hybrid. And it's funny because I don't know exactly when, I guess in the 50s they were saying, oh, it's going to die out, it's just a fad. It's like, it just kept changing.
Yeah.
It didn't die out. You know, there's a lot of genres that do because they can't adapt to whatever. And I don't know how metal or rock in general, how it does that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, I don't want to mention Britney Spears, but I can.
Britney Spears. In a
can,
Motley
but-
Crue video?
You can, but we'll wish you don't.
Sacrilege!
I probably had some around here somewhere. So yeah, as far as the writing on Too Fast for Love and the sound of it, to me, and they've described this too this way, the band members, or Nikki has said it, they come from, they're like street, and it's like a punk type thing that they were doing, and then the glam thing was more the image. Because they consider this, and this kills me, a lot of bands say this, in past interviews and stuff, they say, oh, well, you're a heavy metal band. And Vince and Nikki would always say, well, we're not a metal band, we're just a rock and roll band.
Right.
And I don't know if it's because they don't like the tag, or if it's because it makes you think of someone else or something else, but I don't know. And now Motley Crue is considered classic rock on radio, and I can't wrap my head around that really. I mean, it is now, with like a lot of other bands.
Yeah.
We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
But I don't know. In my head, metal's a different thing too. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation for me. I could sit here all day and talk about that.
I think the first two albums are definitely metal. Even though when I listened to the first album again, it had been so long, there were a lot of songs that to me almost were poppy.
Oh, yeah.
To nowadays standards.
Mm-hmm.
But there are definitely some heavy songs on there. And then, I mean, when you Shout at the Devil, when you have a pentagram on the front cover and they argue that they're not a metal band, it kind of makes you question. But
right. They were trying to be
But
metal.
I think after those two albums, a lot of the stuff was definitely a little more poppy or just more on the hard rock side. I mean, again, a lot of songs I like. They did a good job with it. But those are definitely metal, those first two.
I agree.
Yeah.
I would totally agree.
So would you guys say that what's your favorite Motley Crue album if out of these two, or is it either one of these albums?
Well, for me, it's hard to pick a favorite Motley Crue because they're
What's
like
most listened to in the past? How many times?
Well, I listen to Too Fast for Love more than I listen to any of their other stuff.
I probably do too. I think maybe, I don't know. When Shout the Devil came out, I was wearing that one out. It was cassette at the time.
Stretching the cassette.
Yeah. So.
For me, honestly, the one I tend to go to more is Dr. Feelgood. I tend to have more of a connection with that album and more memories associated. But as far as these two, for this video, definitely Shout at the Devil was my favorite. After listening to them both back to back again, many more songs on there that I like. A little heavier. I like the overall production quality better than the first album. Definitely Shout.
Was this more polished? Is that why, or just more metal?
Both.
Because I know Dr. Feelgood was really polished.
Yeah.
Because who
Bob
was
Rock.
it? Someone was saying that they wanted the producer of Dr. Feelgood because it sounded so good. I don't know if it was Metallica or somebody.
I think it was Metallica because that was before Black Album. Bob Rock did.
That's what it was. That's what it was. So that's a big compliment.
Yeah.
With that, I don't know. I think with each album, Motley Crue had like broke a standard which, with each album. The first album they came out, it's like, no one's doing this. So they had to outdo themselves with Shout at the Devil, I think. And they did that. And then it just seemed like each album, and then with the Dr. Feelgood, the production, if Metallica is wanting an album that sounds like that,
right?
That's something that no one ever asked me to do.
I'll ask you to do it.
Okay, I'll produce your next album.
Thank you. So which one are you choosing between the two?
It's really hard to do.
It is hard to do.
But I'll go on, based on what I said, I like every song on the first album. So I'm going on that, and I'm also going on the fact that I can listen to that album and never get tired of any song on it. And it's weird because I want to listen to it in chronological order. Because the songs are cut so close together at times.
Yes.
They almost seem like one song.
Yes.
So I think it's consistent like that. That would be my choice, first album. Too Fast for Love, ladies and gentlemen.
You are wrong.
I'm always wrong.
So, in retrospect, if you were to, let's take Too Fast for Love, how many spins would you give it?
Well, I'd give it 10 plus. Just,
10 plus?
10 plus, just because.
All right. What about you, Eli?
Probably a 7.
Wow, 7. Lucky 7.
I have to...
Not so lucky.
I have to go with 10 because it is one of my favorite Mötley Crüe records, and Mötley Crüe is one of my favorite bands, so I'm going to give it a 10.
So what about Shout at the Devil?
I will give Shout at the Devil a 9.5. What about you, Eli?
A 9.5, huh?
Eli?
I said Eli.
I would say a 9. The only reason because after listening to it the whole way, it's definitely not an album that I would normally want to sit and listen to the whole thing. There were a lot of songs that I could just easily skip over. Mm-hmm. But as far as the amount of songs that I do love, which override the other one, that's why I would give it a 9, just based on the quality of those songs.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Well, I would say, I actually have to agree with you. I'd say a 9. It's hard for me to say that because I actually have more memories tied to Shout at the Devil than I do Too Fast for Love, because I had it first.
Right.
It was the first Mötley Crüe I got, I'm pretty sure. And so I had to go backwards and listen to Too Fast for Love. And but once again, it's similar to what you said. I could skip over tracks on there if I listened to it. And I can't do that with the first album. So
see, I can't do that with either one of these. I have to listen to the whole thing.
You're an Uber fan.
Right.
I am an Uber fan. I really love both of them. And I don't know. It's hard for me to choose. It really, really is. The first Mötley Crüe record I got was Theater of Pain, though. It wasn't either one of these.
You would choose Kiss a Lot.
No, Britney Spears.
Okay, I see. You gotta bring that in here. Then. It all comes back to that.
So, I don't know. I really love them both. So, it's hard for me to choose. It really is.
Did John Corabi save Mötley Crüe?
Not according to Vince.
That could be a whole nother episode right there. Because she has her opinions on that album.
There you go.
Yes, I do. So. I love all the Mötley Crüe records. Everything they've put out is fantastic. Some better than the rest, but everything is good. So I do. So
you're undecisive with the two. They're equal.
They're
same amount of spins, you'd say, or what?
No. Well, I'd give Too Fast for Love half more spins than I would Shout at the Devil.
Right.
But Theater of Pain was my first experience with Mötley Crüe, and then I went backwards chronologically. So I went from Theater of Pain to Shout at the Devil to Too Fast for Love. So, so it was like a completely different experience because, with Theater of Pain, they're way polished, and the record company has come in and said, this is what we're doing with you guys, and this is what's gonna make you famous and make us money.
They had a good look.
That's probably what really broke them too, with Home Sweet Home.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Sure.
The MTV play.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
It was on constant rotation. Yeah.
So then when I experienced Shout the Devil, I was like, what the hell is this?
What band is this?
This isn't the same band, but I like it. And then when you go back again to Too Fast for Love, it's almost completely different again.
Well, one thing I'd like to say that I just thought of with Too Fast for Love, they were still on the club circuit.
Yes.
So that alone, I think, had a lot to do with the sound of the album.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, they're younger, too, a little bit. And because what we were saying about the Leather Records version, if you've heard that out there, the Leather Records, it's on YouTube, or it was, I guess it still is. To me, I like it because it's even more raw, and it's more like, DIY type of thing. They just put it together on their own record label.
Right, and that's exactly what they did, yes.
So I think that they even, whoever the producer was on the album, still polished it up and remixed it, I guess. And a lot of fans, I've heard people say that they don't care for the new mix, which is the official release. It says production mixed by Gordon Fordyce. Is that right? Is that the guy that remixed it potentially?
Yes.
But see, this is the one I know. I know the other one. So when I went back and listened to the other one, it's like, wow, that's really cool. I really like that.
Well, and this one, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. This version of this is a repress, and it's on Motley Crue Records. Well, on Motley Records. So this is a repress that was put out by the band. Elektra also repressed this from Leather Records once they signed with Elektra. So you're going to see like 3 or 4 different versions of this record. And they all sound different.
And this is the one.
The sound is different, not the songs or the lyrics, but the sound is different.
This is the one that's made to look like an old record. It's got the ring wear.
Yes.
It's got the yellowing around the cover. It's supposed to look like that because it's a brand new record.
And that's Vince Neil, by the way, just so you know.
What's Vince Neil? Oh, his crotch. Yeah.
This is Vince Neil.
Yeah.
Just that's Vince Neil.
That's it. You don't have. There's no more of Vince Neil.
Just this
that's
part.
the part that sings.
That would be the concert to go to. 21 and older.
But what Brant was saying about that original, I didn't know about that till recently, so I'm going to be looking that up on YouTube myself, and I want to hear the difference.
I tell you what, I would really like to see them do is CD and vinyl, reissue it, gatefold with the original Elektra on first disc, and then the Leather Records on the second one.
There you go. I mean, now that
that'd be awesome.
Now that they're done, apparently, start doing box sets of each album, kind of like what Metallica's doing or whatnot.
Yeah.
But Livewire, that's probably in my top 5 of favorite Crue songs.
Oh yeah.
And, the subtle things are what I like about it. Tommy Lee's drumming, the little cymbal chokes and things that he does. That's what stands out to me in that song mainly. I just love those little
I'll never get tired of that
drum tricks that he would do, and he's one of my favorites. But.
Yeah, he's an amazing drummer.
I
has no fear.
When I first seen him. What?
You said you remember?
Oh, when I first seen him on MTV, which was "Looks to Kill" video. It's like, he's spinning the drumsticks around his head and stuff. It's like, wow, I've never seen anybody do that.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I remember seeing that growing up as a little kid, and I was like, man, these guys kind of remind me of Kiss, and that whole look and everything, and then of course finding out that Tommy was kind of trying to match that bass drum sound from Creatures of the Night, so it was cool that all that tied in. So
which one's Gene Simmons?
Right, Nicky.
Right.
Well, I mean, as
because
far
he's
as
always tried to be.
As far as those influences, I mean, yeah, Nicky was influenced by Kiss, and he was also influenced by Sweet. So, I mean, you will see all those kinds of influences in this record.
Oh, yeah.
You absolutely
That is
do.
Vince's crotch. It says Vince right there.
I know it does. I know it is.
I mean, I knew it was, but it's just, there's proof right there. Anybody want to see this? It's got its, okay. See, they should also have where you can peel the cover off and then you show what's underneath.
No thanks.
Some people would like that.
Scratch and sniff.
There you go.
That's disgusting.
I think we're done here.
Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Thanks, Eli, for participating.
Yes, thank you guys for letting me be a part of this. I actually contacted them myself and asked to be a part of this video. I love watching their Versus series. And when I heard Motley Crue was next, I was like, can I please be in it? And so, thank you guys for inviting us over. Me and my family had a great dinner. It was excellent. And thanks for being in this video.
Rock and roll. Rock and roll.
Hoochie coo.
Maybe we'll do one again, and
you never know.
Maybe I can get them to my place for a video too sometime.
Anything's possible.
You never know. Anyway, if you like what you see, please comment. Please leave those below, and
check out his
subscribe.
channel.
Check out his channel,
NBDRUMMER.
NBDRUMMER.
Check out his channel. Just his name,
That's
Brenton
me.
Wood Young.
No, there's no wood in it.
Oh, just
that's
Brenton.
Facebook.
Just Brenton Young. And then thanks for watching mine. We'll see you soon.
See ya.
Let us know which one's your favorite in the comments.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good idea.